Okay, we're live. Welcome to another LogiCast episode. My name is BlankaKong. I'm joined by smaller panelists, or a smaller panel today of panelists. Who do we got? We got Mr. Esoteric Skills and Gunner Eos. No Zedekaiser, no Hada Wolf. Life has gotten in the way of them joining us tonight, but that's okay. Because we're going to be talking about Gamescom 2022. I think they're still showing off games, but we're just going off of what we've seen so far. We just saw the Jeff Keighley's Gamescom presentation gimmick, and we're just gonna kind of go down the list of games that they showed off, and just kind of give our general opinion on it. So, with that being said, the first game on the list that we saw was Dead Island 2. This was less of a gameplay showcase and more of just like a cutscene, kind of like just cinematic opening of a character kind of like just beating the crap out of zombies and like kind of walking around in this world. Uh, I don't really have much to say. I did play the first Dead Island. I did enjoy it for what it was. This game has been in development for a long time. I think it was first announced 2018, maybe
Yeah, I think
2017,
so.
probably. I don't know, somewhere around there. It feels like it's ages ago now. But
Yeah.
I know it was supposed to come out at some point before that, before now, but hasn't obviously. So that's it. That's all I have to say about Dead Island 2. What are you guys' thoughts on that game?
Um.
I'll cop. I'll take my swing at it. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It was kind of re-revealed the way the first Dead Island 2 was, where that was just a cutscene. This is kind of the same thing. So still no actual gameplay, and you would think that with how long it's been in development, we'd have something. That kind of
Yeah, because the first
um
trailer was the white guy like jogging or running, right?
jogging, yeah, and then
Yeah,
like a
that's what it
zombie
was.
apocalypse was going on behind him. It
Hmm.
looks to be in the same, take place in the same location because the first trailer was in San Diego, and it looks like it's still in the same place because you saw the big windmill, not windmill, the Ferris wheel, excuse me. So okay, it's still in the same area. Still no gameplay, so that has me kind of personally worried
Hmm.
because that just sets up red flags of development hell. And Dead Island wasn't really particularly a deep game. I agree with Kong. I enjoyed it for what it was. When I needed my zombie fix, it was a good zombie game. I did have general moments of anxiety, not anxiety, that's too strong a word, but kind of like butt clenching, kind of unease when I'm like in the thick of the zombie horde and I'm trying to gather some supplies before some shit comes out. So
Yeah.
if it's that, cool. I dig the kooky weapons like the electric knife and the acid claymore you can make. That's fun. So if it's more of that, then cool. But the fact that it's been so long in development and we still haven't gotten any gameplay kind of leaves me a little wary. So I'll keep my eye on this one and maybe it'll actually come out this time around. But that's my little take on it, what we saw.
Yeah, I feel like you guys already like made the points for me. In a sense, um, for a game to have been presented like years ago, and then re-presented, if that's even a word, again today, it's like no gameplay. There should have been some form of gameplay. I've never played the first Dead Island. I heard great things about it, so I can completely understand a lot of people anticipating this particular game, Dead Island 2. Um, but I can also see some people losing their luster for it because it's been so long. They were promised one years ago. It hasn't come out yet. Then to come out again with another trailer with nothing to really show. I mean, the trailer looks good, don't get me wrong, but with our constant viewership of watching games that look interesting with just the trailer alone, we have been like kicked in the balls, so to speak. Um, so yeah, hopefully it delivers for all the Dead Island fans. I'm going to wait and see when it comes out to see if the gameplay is appealing to me. And that would be my defining factor as to whether or not I pick it up. Hopefully, in the near future, they come out with like a little gameplay snippet. But it's honestly, it's a little disappointing after all these years for you guys to focus on another trailer as opposed to like gameplay, even if it's altered during the end stages of the game. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Much remains to be seen with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this next one, we did get some gameplay, which I'm excited for, and this is something I am going to be buying day one. Callisto Protocol. It's man, we don't get good horror games enough lately. I think there's a bit of a renaissance with horror. Like more people are into it these days. And with horror media, it's like we get a lot of duds versus wins, but this looks like a win. So Callisto Protocol, we saw some gameplay. We saw that there's the gravity gun, right, where things kind of like the vacuum gun. Uh, you can like vacuum guys up to you and like throw them against the wall or throw them into like grinders and things like that. You can use them for cover. Like there was one point where the main character had like gravity sucked one dude toward him and they used him as cover because the other guy was like shooting green mist at him. That was kind of cool. There's dodge. There's a bob and weave dodge that the main character has. There's a block. So they showed us a lot about like the combat, like some of the intricacies of the combat, which is pretty cool. So I'm already sold on the game. I already pre-ordered it. I'm going to get the collector's edition. I'll let you guys talk about it though. What do you think about Callisto Protocol? What we saw so far?
Definitely agree with everything you said. It, as you guys know, I recently played Dead Space, so it kind of gives that. It seems like it's gotten a lot of inspiration from that game, and I really
Same
love Dead
development
Space.
team.
Same
So,
development team. Okay,
yep.
Yeah.
cool. So it makes sense, but it's really I really enjoy the third person aspect of it. The eeriness, the the way that the enemies move, the little like monsters or aliens or whatever, don't know what setting this game is on. Um, it's they also incorporated some I guess you can say not mini games, but some uh setting issues where like you're navigating through the river or whatever, the water flow or whatever, and you had to like dodge. Um,
Yeah.
the guns look super interesting, like you said, with the gravity gun. Um, and I love that they weren't afraid to incorporate the gruesome factor. Like it looked really gruesome. Like when I saw some of the enemies split apart, like I kind of like cringed a little bit because like, damn, it's like I felt it. Like I was going through the grinder. Um, Another thing I did like was that the enemies. I don't know if it's just this particular one or it's going to be others, but I like how it kind of sprouted different limbs after it dropped um, the original ones that it had, and then proceeded to attack the player or whatever. Um, I love the stealthy aspect where you're just trying to get the jump on some of these enemies. The game overall just looks great, and what I love is that they showed gameplay. It wasn't trailer driven; it was actual gameplay. So that's pretty much my thoughts. It's definitely going to be a day one buy for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always on the lookout as a horror nut for some good kind of horror games. I like uh body horror, which is kind of like twisted monsters that kind of resemble humans, not really. That's what I liked about Dead Space so much because it was that. It was kind of like these weird, chaotic, fucking abominations that once were human.
Oh,
Callisto
that's what
seems
it's
to
called. Okay, body horror. Okay.
body horror, yeah, that's the kind of genre like that and Thing. It's kind of that genre of horror. So yeah, Callisto Protocol seems to be following in that wake. It's giving me all the good Dead Space vibes. You know, you see his health bar on the back of his neck. You see the ammo count on his gun when he shoots, and when it gets lower, the color changes to red to indicate that the ammo is about to run out. I dig that. The only thing that's kind of got me a little bit worried is I know they're two separate games and it's not fair to compare them, but Dead Space was really survival horror. It didn't really have a lot of the I call them triple A game tropes. This one in the trailer, the gameplay footage that they showed, it showed a water sliding section, and I can name a bunch of games that I played that had that mechanic. Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Last of Us, games of that ilk, and that's like a standard AAA kind of trope. So I'm cool with it every now and then, but I hope it's not the norm. I hope it's still like a gritty survival horror. I'm stepping on bodies trying to get 5 rounds of ammo for my gun. So, but you know, like you guys said, the gameplay looked good, solid, environmental damage. I'm down with that. So it's still on my list of things to get. And I'm looking forward to it coming out, quite frankly.
Yeah,
So,
I
go
mhm.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna just piggyback off of Gunner. I was gonna say, as long as the water slide section, like as long as those particular tropes aren't the focal point, I think it will remain true to the horror style that you're looking for. Um, n- Also, hopefully they don't have any like gimmicks, like just certain enemies you have to they only attack a certain way and you can only kill them a certain type of way. As long as it's like, I guess, a mixed bag, I'll be okay because that's what Dead Space kind of was, where you had to shoot off certain limbs. Not certain limbs. You had to shoot off limbs to kind of like stop enemies depending upon the situation. Um, and it was a mixed bag. So yeah,
So, just to go off what you guys were just talking about, that water sliding section, it's definitely a game design trope. Like we've seen it in a bunch of different games.
Yeah.
And it's basically the way I see it, and I don't know, like I'm not an official game designer or anything, but those segments are really to kind of give the player a break between the combat. Um, and I'd rather that than a talking segment, like a walking simulator segment where the character's just walking at like a really slow speed and talking with like somebody else or whatever. Like I hate that. That's something that drives me crazy with AAA games. Is that walking segment where it's just like we're gonna walk and talk for 10 minutes and you're forced and it's gameplay like it's any game, but like you can't do anything, you can't attack, you can't run, you just have to walk at the slow speed. That shit drives
yeah,
me crazy. And there's no
Um,
QTEs, at least from what they showed us, which I'm all for. Let me just control the character. I hate QuickTime events. QuickTime events suck. Um, in my personal opinion, if you like QuickTime events, that's cool. Just know that I'm on the other side of that.
I mean,
Of that.
it was great for Resident Evil 4, but I feel like it's overused now. Like they run to it
Yeah,
so
it's
much.
definitely overused. But anyway, next game we saw a trailer for was Sonic Frontier, or Sonic Frontiers. This game looks kind of cool. It looks like a open world Sonic game. Basically what I think Sonic '06 was supposed to be. I think this game is what that game was supposed to be. I don't know if it's a day one buy, but I can see myself playing it as long as it plays smoothly. I think that's the biggest challenge with these Sonic games is like they always have like a lot of technical issues where like Sonic was stuck in geometry in the world or like he'll teleport somewhere else because like the game can't keep up with his pathing or whatever. Like I just hope they lock that shit down and just has smooth, meaningful gameplay. I just hope it works, pretty much. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Um, I agree. The game, from what I saw, looks amazing. It looks crisp, solid. Of course, they're not going to show the complexities or the issues that they would be having with what we had in Sonic '06 within this trailer, because this game is, without a doubt, still in the testing phase. But I'm a little apprehensive because there was a lot of intriguing Sonic games that were interested in the beginning, and then when I played them, they kind of were a letdown. So I'm a little apprehensive with this particular game. It looks great. It looks good, but it's not going to be a day one buy for me. I would have to wait for someone to or some people to purchase it, critique it, and then I will make my choice within like a few weeks time or something.
Yeah, Sonic. Sonic, I have a weird relationship with Sonic. I think Sonic is cool. Much like most of us in this panel and our friend group, we all grew up on some level of Sonic. We've all played Sonic 2, Sonic, so but Sonic games have, especially the open world ones, or just Sonic games in general, have been super hit or miss. You had some good ones like Sonic Colors. The little bit I played, that was fun. Sonic Generations, which I didn't play, but you guys told me was a good one. I've heard other, streamers and whatnot say it was enjoyable because it was just classic Sonic. But
Sonic Mania
Sonic's,
was pretty good too. Sonic Mania.
Mania, okay, there you
Oh,
go.
never played that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of Sonic, when Sonic tries to branch out and do something different, it's always super hit or miss. To me, my favorite Sonic game that's open world is Adventures, and this is kind of like in that family. So I don't know. I don't know. It looks fine. The enemies are interesting. Got some glitchy polygons as enemies. That's interesting. They showed Amy, or what looked to be Amy, in the trailer, so I'm assuming the gang's gonna be there. Tails, Knuckles, Dr. Eggman, Biggs. They can. Sonic has a huge cast of characters. Will they be playable? We don't know that. It's just Sonic at the moment. Um, as far as Sonic goes, I kind of treat it in the same vein as Pokemon for me personally. I like it, but the games just aren't for me anymore. So probably won't get this unless I hear like rave reviews about it. Like this is the second coming of Sonic Jesus, then maybe I'll look into it. But yeah, I mean, good for the Sonic fans. Hopefully they get a good one because Lord knows they've been let down more often than they've risen up. So that's my thoughts. Good luck. Good luck to Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. Next game we saw a trailer for was Lies of P, which I'm really intrigued by. It's supposed to play like a Bloodborne style, Souls-like game, but with Pinocchio as the main character in this like really like dark world. I think it looks cool. I can't say for sure if it's gonna be a day one buy because I gotta see more gameplay. And I don't even think we have like an official release date. I think there's a release window, but not a release date. So hard to say, but I'm definitely intrigued. I think it looks cool. I like the fact that he has like different like attachments for his like mechanical arm, and that kind of determines like his secondary weapon or whatever. I'm down for it. So anything that plays like Bloodborne or Dark Souls games, I'm always gonna be intrigued by. So what do you guys think?
Um, yeah, I mean, Bloodborne is one of my favorite Souls-like or Souls games. That's that a lot of people haven't gotten to play because it's a PlayStation exclusive. So we're getting kind of like an equivalent, not a direct copy, but in that same family. I'm down. The art style looks cool. It's set in like gothic London kind of, you know, area. So I'm down with that's the reason why I like Bloodborne so much. The fact that it's a game based off of Pinocchio, like the most unlikeliest of heroes, is just crazy. That his dad seems to be the villain. I
Mm-hmm.
don't maybe that's weird. Maybe you're gonna be leveling up via the fairy godmother. That'd be something. Um, but I'm assuming we're gonna see, Pinocchio characters just in weird, grotesque forms. I know Esoteric talked about, are we going to see the whale? Probably. He might be a boss with like 10 legs and 50 eyes, but the whale will be there. So yeah, the gameplay looks solid. Looked like they kind of took inspiration from Sekiro with Pinocchio's arm that does a lot of things and he draws his weapons from there. So that's an interesting concept. and the gameplay looks solid from what they showed. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep my eyes on this one, and we'll definitely look at any more information that comes out about it. Sure.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I it like the game's aesthetic just looks really nice, really crisp. It kind of gives me that steampunk vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the enemies look intriguing. They look very animated, very agile. Um, the different assortment of weapons that you can utilize. Like you guys know, I love heavy, strong hitting weapons. So Pinocchio or whatever his name is in the game, um, he had like this big, heavy wielding sword that felt so impactful. It looked so satisfying when he dealt blows to the enemies. Uh, the abominations of the enemies look interesting. The You guys already said the other points about Geppetto being seeming to be the villain, um, incorporating other characters within the Pinocchio fantasy. Like the game, the game looks good. The gameplay looks solid. Um, I hope before launch that there's more trailers for it because it's good. I'm not apprehensive about it or as apprehensive about it as I am with Sonic Frontier. Um, but I would love to see a little more. Like we got a little taste. I would like to like get a little more of that. So yeah,
Looks good so far.
Yeah,
agreed.
definitely intriguing. So keep your eyes on that one. Next one is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is a random one. I won't lie. It's based off of an old horror movie from like the '80s, and it's supposed to play like I think the same team that worked on Friday the 13th is working on this game. So it's gonna play a lot like those multiplayer horror games. There's like Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th. Um, I'm I don't care. Like personally, like it's cool that they're getting a game, but it's not really for me that genre of game. I see the intrigue, but like I can only play it for so long before I kind of lose interest. So this one isn't for me, but what do you guys think?
Um, Definitely a pass for me. Again, there was no gameplay, so we can't definitively say that.
There was a little
Uh,
gameplay. It was a little
Really?
bit. It was like sprinkled in there.
Mm, I didn't. Well, I got. I guess I got to re-see um the trailer. Um, but if it does, to your point, if it does play like Dead by Daylight, I had my fill with Dead by Daylight. Um, it got stale fast for me. Not saying that the game is bad, but for me personally, it just wasn't a game that I could play consistently, or I felt the need to pick up every now and then to play. Um, but I can watch other people play it, and it's kind of like as I told you guys before, it's kind of like Animal Crossing for me. The game is great, but it's not a game that I can personally sit down and play myself. I can watch other people play it. So I think if Killer Clowns is the same as Dead by Daylight, that's gonna be in the same vein for me. So
Yeah. So, like Kong said, that was pretty freaking random. Out of all the things I figured they were gonna pull from the '80s, I figured we get another thing, game based off the thing.
oh,
But
that would have been nice.
yeah, it could have been good. But we chose Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is a wild movie. I've seen it. It's only from the minds of the '80s could this movie come from. So, I mean, it's cool. I don't know who this is targeted to other than millennials like me who enjoy watching '80s movies or people like my parents who watched the movies when they were younger, or maybe it's so quirky that kids from, this generation will go, "Oh, it's your game, I'll play it." But yeah, to me, this whole thing's a giant question mark. It's cool that it's a thing.
Well, let's be honest here. Like it wasn't. It's not a thing because it's just because somebody's really passionate about Killer Clowns from Outer Space. it's a thing because they can make it a horror multiplayer game and monetize the shit out of it with skins. So they can't
Yeah,
really do
but
that with the thing. So
no, they couldn't. But I figured there'd be other movies from the '80s to pull from. But yeah, you're probably right. I wouldn't be surprised if you get funky skins and
yeah,
crossover skins. So
that's what
yeah,
it
that's
is. That's really
that's
what it
probably the
is. But
info.
like, it's still random as fuck.
It's very
So
random. Yeah, much like you guys, I have no intentions of getting it. I can't say it's gonna fail because I thought Friday the 13th was gonna bomb, and apparently that game is still going. So if that game can succeed, and we played that for all of an evening, and we immediately just dropped it to just talk, hey, any game can succeed.
I
So,
mean, for us and those type of games, I feel like it's like chewing gum. Like you taste it, you get the flavors, and then after a while, like a few minutes, the flavors just dies. Like at least with those games with us, that's how it feels to me. Um, I
well,
play for a few moments, and then afterwards, it's like, eh, what's
well,
next?
I would agree with you, but when we get to the game in the list that kind of is in the same family, that's when, for me, it's all about the theme and what it is. If I'm gonna play something that's pretty much the same gameplay, the world better be interesting. And when we get to the game that I'm talking about, I can play that game for hours because I love the world that game takes place in. Killer Clowns, how much investment am I going to have in Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Next to nothing. So, good luck to it. Good luck for Killer Clown fans out there.
yeah, so there's that. Hogwarts Legacy was the next game. This one didn't really show too much gameplay or any gameplay. It was more like cinematic story based cutscenes. I am not a Harry Potter fan at all. I have not read any of the books. I have not seen any of the movies. I am a Harry Potter noob. So
Oh
for
my
me,
god!
I know this, somebody's gonna hear me say that and go, "This fucking poser."
Hey, make sure to
Listen,
comment.
yeah, yeah. Let me know. Let me know how much of a loser I am for not liking Harry Potter. Or it's not even I don't like it. I just don't. I don't know anything about it.
Just haven't interacted, yeah.
That's it. That's it. So I have nothing to say about this game. So
Well,
Um,
I'll go next because I know Mr. Esoteric has someone in his family that is really she likes Harry Potter, so he can explain more on that. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've read two books, kind of when Harry Potter kind of made it big in America. Saw the first movie. I have issues with Harry Potter's lore, which I would not get into. So I was just never interested in Harry Potter. It's not the fantasy world that I particularly care for. I like other fantasy worlds more. Not shaming the books. They obviously have stood the test of time and they're doing something right because people care about it. So yeah, we'll not be getting this more than likely, but good luck to it. And with that, I'll let Esoteric take it away.
well, for me personally, I am a Harry Potter fan. I'm not a true Harry Potter fan because I didn't read all the
Yeah,
books.
man, where's your rollback? Come on now.
Yeah, I know people will definitely shit on me in regards to that. Like they'll probably ask questions, well, what did you like better, the movie or the books? Well,
Name
I
10
read
Slytherins right now.
I read next to none in terms of the books, like maybe um Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. That was about it. Afterwards, didn't. Um, However, I do have a significant other who loves the Harry Potter series. She read the books and watched the movies, um, and she enjoyed both. She loved the books more because there's more detail in it. But I'm kind of like, of course, going off on a tangent right now. But in regards to the game, from what I'm seeing here, it looks interesting. The aesthetic kind of matches what we've seen in the movies, in my humblest opinion. Um, I can only gauge based upon. Let's be for real. It's kind of a trailer without it being a trailer because it didn't really incorporate much actual gameplay in terms of like, well, what do you do aside from wave your wand? I see what I fight. I see like certain characters within the Harry Potter verse, but I don't see Like, is there a map for me to navigate? Is there like how are the controls? Like, can you jump? Things like that. I don't see any of that. Um, it's most likely going to be a day one buy, not for me, but for my significant other because she likes Harry Potter. So she probably is going to get rather much enjoyment from it. Um, but I am going to watch her play and then decide whether or not I will, you know, pick it up and try it out. Um, hopefully, again, a lot of these trailers they come out with these uh, cinematic, aesthetically pleasing videos, but there's nothing to like. It's supposed to be a game. I want to see. I want to play. I want to see what I can potentially play. I don't see that here. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean it's Harry Potter, so it's gonna sell.
Yeah, absolutely. But like it's supposed to be a game, so I want to see how much. My goal when seeing these like GameCon and these other presentations, I want to see how much interaction I get from the game, how much utilization of the controller I get. All I'm
No,
seeing is me
I
watching
get
a
you.
glorified movie. You know.
Yep. Well said. The next game trailer we saw or like gameplay feature was first person shooter. I think it's part of the Rick and Morty universe called High on Life. I'm not interested whatsoever. I think it looks super lame and the comedy is just not for me. So take it away. You guys tell me what you thought about it.
You want to go esoteric? You want me to?
um,
Because
where
it
do
will
I?
be short. I think it's gonna be short from all of us.
Yeah, not my cup of tea. I mean, they showed a gimmicky boss fight. The banter between the knife and the gun, which had faces on them, wasn't funny. It looked weird. That's all I got from it. The only reason why I guess Kong would say that it's Rick and Morty verse because the gun sounded like Morty. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I
And
mean,
the
if it's not the same voice actor, it's someone who's damn
I mean, the art
close.
style and
yeah,
everything, it looked a lot like Rick and Morty. So I thought maybe
yeah.
it's linked to it. I don't. I could be totally wrong about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I could be as well. I don't know what it is. It's not my type of game. Not appealing to me whatsoever. Don't have much to say.
Okay, yeah, same. I have no interest in this game. It's a shooter. That's cool. But if I have to deal with that gun for more than like 20 minutes, trying to hit me with quippy one lines and trying to be my conversation partner, I'd probably lose my fucking mind. Just in that little gameplay segment alone, the gun and the knife is just like, oh my god, you don't shut up. And it's just like the shooting looked fine. I mean, it's not the first game that I saw had a whip mechanic that allows me to grapple from points to points. It won't be the last.
Metroid
So
Prime. Just saying.
I don't know if this is a prank or I guess it's a serious game, but no interest whatsoever. Hard pass. Hardest of pass.
All
Next
right.
game.
Yeah.
Moving past that, Gotham Knights was the next game we saw, which I think looks fine. Like it looks like just a fun like superhero beat 'em up game. Um, I'm I'm a Batman fan, but I'm not going crazy for this particular title. I'm just excited that we get a multiplayer. I don't think it's a games as a service, right? I think it's just like a
No,
regular
it's another
multiplayer
game
game.
in the Arkham series. Yeah.
Okay, so then that's good. I just want a normal multiplayer game that I could play with a friend or with friends and just beat up some goons. And this looks like it. That's what it is. And there's like different characters, right? There's Batgirl, there's Robin, there's Nightwing, Red Hood, and they all have like different skill trees. And like, I'm like, okay, cool. And I know you can like if I wanted to play Nightwing and you guys wanted to play Nightwing, we could all play Nightwing and play different kinds of Nightwing depending on how we build them up. So I'm like, that's cool. I can play this game. This looks fine. The enemies we saw in the trailer looked pretty sick. Like Mr. Freeze looks pretty cool. Clayface looks pretty sick. Harley Quinn is there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna buy it. I don't know if it'll be day one per se, but I'm definitely interested. So
Okay, so I the Arkham games are pretty cool. I think they're one of the few superhero not there's been some Spider-Man recently. The new Spider-Man game's a really good superhero game, but there aren't a lot of really good superhero games, and I think the Arkham series kind of nailed Batman, how to play as him, fight as him, his detective work. We had our little stumbles with Origins, but that was a different team, so I'm not gonna kind of blame the base team. Arkham Knights had its issue, but I did enjoy Arkham Knight, sorry. This one looks cool. It's cool to see Clayface because you rarely see him outside of the comics or the animated movies or cartoons. So that's cool to see Clayface. I'm assuming we'll see some more maybe higher tier or lower tier Batman villains. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Kong. Maybe not day one buy, but and don't flame me for this, but these games tend to go on sale really quickly. So I might end up picking it up on sale. We'll see. If it's good for like maybe 30, 40 bucks, that might be when I enter the arena, so to speak, but definitely not for 60 or 70. Not for me. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same side of the coin as you guys. The game it looks solid. One of the things that really caught my eye, ironically, was the character designs. Even though that doesn't really, I would say, contribute to gameplay, it's just aesthetically pleasing. Um, just to go back to my rant about um, games only having trailers. But I love the design. The design is cool. It seems like a fun four-person tops beat 'em up. Um, I love the Batman universe, DC universe overall. Anyway, so the game is it's not going to be a day one buy for me as well, but I do see myself purchasing it somewhere down the line. So, um, the only thing like would have to be playing with people. Like um, I believe Kong mentioned this earlier. I don't know if it was during this segment or prior to us filming the segment, but it's one of these games that I would definitely have to play with friends.
yep, I'd agree with that. So we'll definitely set that up when the time comes. We saw a quick trailer, like a quick sizzle reel for the new PS5 Edge DualSense controller. So that's a thing. I don't really have anything to say about that. I don't even have a PS5 yet. So
Same. I don't own a PS5. It seems like this is Sony's answer to the Xbox Elite. The Elite seems to be doing well from what I've heard. People buy it and enjoy it, and they say it's a solid controller. So if Sony can kind of mimic that and produce a solid controller, cool. I mean, it is a thing you hold in your hand for hours on end. So if it's good and customizable, cool. But yeah, I don't have a PS5 at all, so this doesn't affect me. But cool that it exists. Like,
Yeah, for me, I do own a PS5, and if it is the Xbox's answer to the Elite, um, I think I would be interested in it. One of the biggest issues I have about the DualSense controller is its bulkiness and sleekness. So when I'm playing games like Bloodborne or like Elden Ring or whatnot, my hands get sweaty and it tends to the controller tends to slip out my hands. So if there's like a configuration where you can actually replace that part for something a little more like rubbery in a sense where I can actually get a nice firm grip on it, I think I would absolutely buy it. I think another selling point would be as well is like if the buttons are being worn out, um, or like the D-pad, there's some type of issues, you can swap them out. If it's the same as the Elite, then I can see myself buying one of those, depending upon the price, of course. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the hundreds range.
Oh yeah, probably.
All right, so the next thing we saw was the trailer for Outlast. I played the first two Outlast games. I didn't finish either one. I enjoyed the second one more than I did the first one, but I think if you're interested in horror games, like you'll definitely enjoy it. And this one looks like it's keeping true to like what the Outlast games have been. So I don't know. I'll probably check it out. What do you guys think of it?
Um, well, as you guys know, I recently streamed Outlast. That was the first time I ever played it. Um, I did have a friend who I watched like in the beginning play, but I got the full like story and the full experience, and it was a great game. I really enjoyed it. Never played two, but I've heard nothing but good things about it, as you guys can attest to. Um, with this new one, it looks really interesting. It looks very intense. It appears that you're able to attack. Like I saw like a little somebody placed like a landmine on the floor. I don't know if that was you per se, or if you had the ability to do that, or if it was a cutscene or whatnot. Wasn't really too sure. It was like in the blink of an eye. Um, but it looks like they also have actual other characters. I believe in the first one, if I'm not mistaken, um, there were some, but you didn't really interact with them. There was just enemies through and through for the most part. Um,
Yeah, usually it was the character you played as, and everybody else was a psychopath, essentially. So
yeah, like you was just in an asylum and everybody was crazy. I don't. It escapes me, but I don't recall ever meeting anybody who was willing to help me in that game. But in this one, it seems like you were helping someone. I saw like somebody was falling off the ledge, and you appear to be the character because it's first person, extended your arm to lift them up. It seems like they're doing some form of experimentations, like in the first one. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. Definitely gonna play the second one before this one comes out. Um, I don't think it's a rush to buy. I'm not that like stoked about getting it. Like it has to be a day one buy. But eventually I'll definitely get it though.
yeah, so I do like Outlast. I played the first and the second one. I echo Kong's assessment. I think the second one was definitely more intense than the first one. They kind of nailed the horror that was established in the first one and ratcheted it up with some pretty wild themes. I don't want to spoil anything for Esoteric when he gets around to it, but the themes and some of the imagery, it's pretty intense.
Mhm.
So three kind of looked kind of from the little bits that we saw was kind of looked like Saw, or was Saw like you in some type of sanatorium for people who are down on their luck. They're homeless, or they feel lost, or they don't have purpose. So they reply to this ad. Little do they know it's they're going to be subjected to tortures beyond measure. So it does look like you're kind of helping people. I did see that. I didn't see so much in the way of combat, more like traps that you can set to maybe dissuade the enemy or slow down the enemy. So there looks like there is a way to semi fight back other than just haul ass and hide in a locker like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first two games. So that's cool. People. I hope that doesn't go too far because Outlast's thing is that you have no power, you have no way to fight back. So I hope these are just kind of like slow down measures and not a way to permanently kill something. But we'll see. I mean, I'm glad the Outlast is still kicking. It's one of those indie games that kind of hit it big. So good to see that, they're still keeping it up and, they haven't started churning Outlast games like Call of Duty. So we'll see. Looking forward to that one, definitely.
Yeah, should be interesting. So another one for the horror fans. The next game we saw was something called Park Beyond, which we thought was Roller Coaster Tycoon, and it's not, but it's the same thing. It's an amusement park, like building simulator. So for anybody who's interested in that, that's coming out. You guys have any thoughts on that?
I'm glad it exists. I used to kind of not hate, that's too strong a word, but just like, ew, another one of these roller coaster city builder games. Because, I was young and stupid. But then I realized, you know what? It's just not for me. These games obviously do well. People get very creative with these type of games. I've seen some of these games like Roller Coaster Tycoon, even though this is not the same genre, pretty much just like build these crazy awesome super detailed amusement parks, and it looks like this game you can do the same. They showed kind of like a completed park, and it was pretty wild. So once again, just something not for me, but it's cool for those that love it, and it looks pretty meaty in what you can do with it. So you know not for me, but glad that it exists for the people that like it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Like, it's not my cup of tea personally, not because of the actual mechanics of the game, because I love building things. I love having my creativity come to life. I think it's just the theme of the game itself where it kind of deters me away from it. I'm not interested in building amusement parks. Although I would love to see what people do come up with. Like myself, I dip and dabble in Mario Maker, um, but I get more enjoyment from actually playing the levels that other people have created as opposed to creating them myself. Um, that's probably because I don't have the time allotted in order to do so. But yeah, it's pretty much to summarize my perspective. It's not my cup of tea, but I wouldn't mind again watching someone build something and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Okay, well said. Um, Another game that I'm not particularly interested in, New Tales from the Borderlands. I played the first two Borderlands games way back when Borderlands was still new. I know that they have Tales from the Borderlands game that came out a few years ago, but I'm personally not interested in like those story-driven narrative decision-making games. Like they just don't do it for me. And yeah, this was a whatever to me. Good for Borderlands fans, I suppose. What do you guys think of the what's it called? New Tales from the Borderlands. Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Gunnar.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, as a fan who kind of likes these story-driven, visual novel-esque games, like I've played Beyond Two Souls. I played some of the when Telltales was a thing. I played like the Telltales Walking Dead. I played the first um Telltales Borderlands game, and they're fine. They're good. They're enjoyable if that's your kind of thing. I just never saw Borderlands as that deep of a game. There was always the funny haha game that was all about collecting the guns and shooting the weird guns and the exotic guns. I never really played Borderlands thinking, "Oh shit, I'm really interested in the lore behind this." Um, but I guess enough people are, or they're gonna really try really hard to get people to care because this game's coming out. So good on them. I don't personally don't think Borderlands lore is strong enough to get me to care about it without the first person shooting aspect. So this isn't on my radar in any capacity, but we'll see. Maybe, it looked nice. It looked cool. I saw a lot of new characters and some returning voices of previous characters, so we'll see, but definitely probably won't get played by me.
Cool. So the next game that we saw looks like a fun game. It's called Moving Out 2, and it's basically like top-down like multiplayer like puzzle game, I guess you could say, where you're just moving furniture or various items outside of an apartment to another place. It looks like a fun game. Looks like it plays like Overcooked. I'm down to play that. Looks like just something fun to play on a night with friends. What do you guys think about it?
Um, I agree. Like, I do enjoy games like Overcook. Those games where the pressure's on and you have to like move things at a certain amount of time before it gets too overwhelming and you lose ultimately. This game seems to have that same appeal. Um, I do love the different puzzle factors. Like I saw, if I'm not mistaken, while the movers were moving whatever object it was, that they had to there was like moving platforms and you had to like kind of keep yourself balanced along with that platform to get to the other side. Um, the games look fun to me. Like it's definitely, as you said, Kong, an enjoyable night with friends. Definitely not a game that I see myself playing by myself um, or like at all unless friends are included. Maybe if it has like an online aspect, I'll probably play if I can't decide what else to play. But the selling factor for me with this game is playing it with friends and hearing the banter of like, hurry the hell up, hurry up, where the hell are you going? Things like
Yeah.
that. So seems great to me.
Yeah, this is a sequel. Obviously, I've seen streams of the first game, and yeah, it it looks fine. A lot of the streamers that I've seen play it, they use this game as like a collaborative game because it's easy to play. It's not super crazy hard, but it can get frantic, and it produces a lot of good banter between the streamers. So I've seen some streamers play it for that reason. Not my cup of tea. I'm not super big into multiplayer games anymore, but obviously the first one did well. This one seems to be taking everything up, new characters, environments, and scenarios. So yeah, I'm indifferent towards it personally, but I have no problem with it existing, and it will definitely have its fan base.
Yep, agreed. So the next game we saw was Left Field, but it seems interesting. I might give it a shot. It's a game called Moonbreaker, and it's supposed to be like a tabletop miniatures game where you can actually like customize and paint your miniatures how you want. And I don't know, that's pretty much the gist of it. I don't know anything about the Moonbreaker universe, and I think it's based off like a book or something. I think that's what it said in the trailer. I think it looks pretty cool. I've never seen a game like that before, where it's miniature tabletop, but it's like a video game. I think that's pretty neat. So I think I'm gonna look more into it after this podcast.
Yeah, I agree. I can't say much about it because this game looks so unique based upon the amount of games that I've seen. Um, the customization was a huge selling point for me because again, um, being in the field of creativity, loving to like build things and like do drawing as a hobby aside from gaming, that was a huge selling point. Um, I also love it appears to be a strategy game, so I also love those types of games as well. So I'm willing to give it a shot. It seems like they're like taking a huge chance, a huge gamble to provide us something different, and I'm okay with that. I'm willing to spend money to see what kind of creativity they deliver because this game I've never seen anything like it. So
Yeah, so okay, so I'm always interested when a game takes when a development team takes a game and a genre that's existed, such as strategy RPGs, and kind of adds a spin to it. And the fact that these are tabletop pieces that you can actually paint in the game because they briefly showed that in the trailer where you can take a piece and paint it, and that's literally what you're doing if you play 40K or Warhammer or any tabletop game. That's pretty much half the battle right there, is spending hours on end painting your miniatures. So the fact that you can do that in the game and then take the miniature that you painted in the game and bring it to the field of combat and play it like brings this game up in interest. Because they could have taken the story and just done it as a traditional strategy RPG with moving characters and all that. But the fact that they did it like a tabletop game just makes it so much more interesting for me. So I will definitely be keeping my eye out for this game. And when I see new information and trailers about it, I'm definitely gonna look into it. So it's looking like a potential buy, but just got to see a bit more.
Yeah, I concur with them going above and beyond in terms of like the customization. I'm like so conflicted with what I saw because it's like I don't know what I'm gonna be spending more time doing, customizing my pieces or, playing the game. Like it just have those two aspects alone is just drawing me in. I again would love to see more what they can do. Based upon the customization, it kind of gives me that for those of you who create models, it gives me that ZBrush feel. So let's see. Let's see. I'm definitely intrigued.
Definitely.
Yeah. The next one I'm not excited for at all. It's a game called Honkai Star Rail, which is just another Genshin Impact style game, but in space. I have no thoughts.
Yeah, me either. It's part of the Honkai series. I know it was a popular gotcha style game on cell phone and PC. So the Honkai fans are probably in a tizzy because they got something new to look forward to. But kind of done with gotcha games, and any Honkai fans that might correct us on if it's a gotcha game or not, feel free to. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I got nothing for it. Cool, I guess, but I'm not gonna be playing it. That's for sure. So short and sweet for me on this one.
I feel the same way with you guys. At first I thought it was a Fire Emblem game, like the current Gen ones, because the cutscenes kind of look similar in terms of like the cell shaded look, the vibrant ness of it. So initially I was like, oh, we're getting a Fire Emblem game. I can actually sit down and play one. Um, Fun fact, I have a couple of the games, never actually sat through any of them for a long period of time. Just, you know, other games probably just caught my eye at the time, but they are good games, especially within the strategy realm. But I don't know much about Honkai games or whatever. I literally played, I shit you not, guys. I played Genshin Impact for like 5-10 minutes and I put it down. I, it didn't. I don't know. It didn't catch me. It looked amazing, but it didn't catch me. So don't have much to say about this game.
All right, you said more than I thought you would. Um, Moving on, there's another game called Homeworld 3, which is the that weird space RTS game where like some units kept killing other units and the guy was narrating everything. I don't know if it's like a RTS battle royale game or something, but I was kind of intrigued. But I need to see like way more before I can say that I'd buy it or even play it. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Sheesh. Yeah, I mean it looks interesting, but they didn't show me a whole lot, so I can't really comment on it.
Yeah,
Um, it looks like it kind of reminds me of the games like Wing Commander, where you take control of like fighter squadrons and spaceships, and you're kind of duking it out in space battles, which it's never been my thing. They're too big brain for me. I just have a hard time managing multiple units, so those games were never for me. But I mean, the ships look good. The way they move in space looks good. Like the game looks good for what it is, and I, you know, if it is battle royale like, or even if it's single player, again, these games have their fan base, and someone's gonna eat this shit up and like play it for hours on end. So it looks cool, but just not for me.
Yeah, for me, it definitely looks cool. I would be more inclined to saying like I want to get it, but I don't know what the hell is going on. It's like you're it's so funny because it's providing you gameplay, but I don't it's hard to determine what you can actually do. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I have to see more. I have to see someone actually selecting certain targets, doing certain things. Um, I need to see more of that as opposed to just seeing a bunch of units moving around, blasting things. I need to see what you can do if that makes any sense.
Makes sense. The next game we saw was Goat Simulator 3. I have nothing to say about this game.
um, well, Goat Simulator 3, it's doing something right. If there's a third one, I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about these games. I just know it's kind of as the it's not actually a goat simulator for anybody listening. It's the opposite. You just play as a goat and you just do whatever the fuck you want. You just yeet your goat from a bridge, make it slam into 50 humans and close line. You can do whatever you want. It has
It's a
no
silly
purpose.
game. It's a silly game for potheads or little
Like,
kids.
yeah,
I mean, let's just call it for what it is. That's what it is. So if you're into it, then cool. Like enjoy. You know.
I
yeah, no
mean,
shame, but it's
I mean, I'm not a pothead, but it's like it's so funny that I just want to buy it and play it just to get kicks and giggles. Like
Yeah, that's what it's for. And when I say potheads, I don't mean literal potheads. I mean just people
I,
who just want a
I know.
silly game. Like it's whatever, and that's fine. That's why these games exist. So that's why I have nothing because it's like it's not for me. So it's like it's fine. Like it
yeah.
exists, cool, whatever. If there's a market for it, great. So moving past that, speaking of there's a market for it. Genshin Impact updates. There's new characters, new waifus. So if you're into that, more content coming your way. Uh, you guys have any thoughts on that? Because I'm swiftly gonna move past like this stuff.
It's
Nope.
it's Genshin. If you're playing Genshin, you know what it's about.
It
That's
has
about it.
no impact on my life, so
No, definitely not.
Cool. Moving on. There's this weird game called Everywhere. We thought somebody, as we were watching it, somebody thought it was Rocket League because there was like
I did.
buggies
That
and
was
stuff
me.
and
Yeah.
ATVs or whatever. But it's not. It's some type of like I think community crafting game. That's kind of what I got from it. I don't know though, so I have nothing more than that. Any thoughts on Everywhere?
No, honestly, to me, they were showcasing an engine. I don't know if that's what it is, but or like
Could
a
be
new game company that these are the worlds we make, and it's not a game per se, just kind of like a demo
right.
of what they're all about. Um, if that's what it is, then I mean the worlds looked good. What they showed. If it's a game, then yeah, I have no fucking clue what I'm looking at. Just a nice looking environments. Maybe racing focus because they did show a lot of cars and they showed them racing. So maybe this is a an elaborate racing game.
I don't know. It was shooting. There was like third person shooter action too.
Right? Oh
Like
yeah,
it's hard to say. Like it was just a lot going on at once, and then the
yeah,
end had like the guy with the flashbacks in space, and I'm like, I don't know what this game is.
yeah.
Um,
When we were watching the video we were watching, I just thought that was a bad cut on the uploaders part. But no, it's
no,
all the same thing.
yeah, it's a part of it. So
So I don't. I got nothing. I don't hate it, love it. I'm or indifferent. I'm just kind of confused.
I'm I mean, the viewers can't see my face, but I
yeah,
made
that
like
face
a
said it all. It's like,
yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah, insert Donkey Kong shrug. It's just like
pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, I don't have much to say about the game, aside from the terrain looking nice, and that's it. Honestly, I see that you can, yeah, you can shoot. You guys pretty much explained or described what y'all seen. I saw the same thing, and yeah, I need more. I need to see more. Like, what is the purpose of this game?
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
So the next thing we saw was a Dying Light 2 update. So they have like this new expansion where you have to like survive these trials, kind of like Hunger Game. Like you have to go through these like different challenges in this like I guess what used to be City Hall. Uh, Looks pretty cool. I haven't played Dying Light 2 yet. I plan to at some point. I just haven't. So it's nice to see that they're getting additional content. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, Dying Light 2 is a fun game. I have to get back to it. I got midway through the game, but I mean, it's like it's Dying Light. It's cool parkour, zombie fun. This just looks like if you want more Dying Light 2, then this is more Dying Light 2. It seems like I think you're a different character, so you're not the main character. You might be. I didn't hear his name, so I'm gonna say that you may be a different character, which is cool. Kind of like different character in the Dying Light universe, so to speak. Seems like it's a post-apocalyptic zombie version of Roman Colosseum. So you're fighting for entertainment, you're fighting for freedom. There will be zombies, there will be combat against players or NPCs, I should say. And yeah, probably new content, new story mode, new weapons. So hey, more Dying Light's never a bad thing. And when I get back to playing Dying Light 2, if I hear that this expansion is worth the money, I'll probably pick it up because I like Dying Light. So it's not like unless it's a completely different style of gameplay, I don't see myself hating it.
Yeah, I've personally have never played any of the Dying Light games. This expansion looks interesting. It kind of gives me a little like Mad Max vibes. With like the mask and like how some of the characters look a bit bulky or whatever. Um, I can't say too much about it, except for based upon what I've seen, it looks interesting. Um, but I would have to. I feel like as though I would have to play the base games to like really get a full
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah.
enjoy. Yeah, get full enjoyment of like what's to come with this expansion. So yeah, don't have much to say on it.
All right, so the next game we saw it wasn't a cuts. It wasn't a gameplay trailer at all. It was just kind of like a teaser trailer. I don't know. It was just a cinematic cutscene. It was for Dune, a game for Dune. I don't know what kind of game it's going to be. It's going to be like a massive multiplayer online game or single player focused game. I could not tell you. But for any Dune fans, there's a game coming. And I could say, what I will say is the graphics for like that cutscene were incredible. Like the character model looked really good. The hair, um, the hair on the character was like really well rendered and like it looked incredible as far as from a graphic standpoint. Looked really sick. It's just I don't know what kind of game it's gonna be. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. When I saw the like the strands of hair, I thought it was a Final Fantasy game because they real big on making sure that every strand of hair is flowing through the wind and all the every detail within the environment and the characters look aesthetically pleasing and like as if it's like some form of realism attached to it. Um, don't know anything about Dune though, so hey, I guess I'll just wait and see what the gameplay is like to determine whether or not I pick it up. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, cool for Dune. I've seen the latest movie, the older movie, so I know a little bit, at least the movie parts of Dune. I know Dune is a big ass universe, and the movies, depending on who you ask, do it justice or don't do it justice. So I'm not gonna act like I'm a Dune fan when I'm not. I have the book, I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is the time to make a Dune game. The first part of the new Dune movie is been out for a bit. The second part is on its way, and Dune is on. Dune is relevant again. So perfect time to make a game for it. I just hope it does it justice. I've seen too many games from book adaptations and stuff that just stray way too far. Hopefully this isn't. I couldn't tell you the character meant nothing. He could have been a super important character from the books for all I know, but it flew over my head. So as far as what we were shown, yeah, Kong pretty much said it best. We weren't shown anything. We were just shown that a Dune game exists. This is kind of what to expect from it. So another one, cool. Dune's cool. Uh, Based on what we saw now, it's definitely I need to see definitely.
Yeah. The next game we saw was a game called Atlas Fallen. It started off with just like cinematic cutscenes, so we kind of was like whatever. We don't know. But then they did hit us with gameplay for like 5 seconds, so we had to rewatch. At least I had to rewatch it to like see what the hell it was. And this is the game where they were like sliding on the sand or whatever, and they were doing all like the super attacks. So it
Yeah.
seems like it's a really flashy game. I'll say that. It's hard to say if it'll be good because we didn't see much. But it's flashy. It's pretty. If you like sliding on sand, there's that. I don't have much to say. I mean, I'm kind of intrigued, but I don't. I need more to like really convince me to even play it, let alone buy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh, oh,
yeah. Go ahead, Gunner. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I've how many open world um action games have we seen in the past couple of years? So I'm gonna need more than what they showed. They showed epic battles. They showed really flashy particle effects. So I'm gonna need more, personally. But yeah, wait and see. I'm not, I definitely don't jump to the pre-order bandwagon anymore. So definitely gonna have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, it looks for me it looks interesting enough to anticipate more gameplay, like more trailers or whatnot. Um, Unfortunately, if they don't provide that, I would pretty much have to wait a little after launch, like maybe a few weeks in, because it looks good. I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. The cinematics look good. The gameplay looked for the little few seconds we saw it, it looked interesting. Um, but again, it didn't, as you guys so eloquently put it, it did not provide much, you know. So yeah, that's my take on it. Hopefully we get some more information.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the next game we saw was I think it's an Xbox exclusive, Xbox and Windows exclusive, something called Crossfire, which is like a military shooter battle royale game. Uh, Esoteric, when we were watching it, you were like, "Oh, that reminds me of Mag." Remember that? If you don't remember it, consider yourself lucky. Um, so yeah, another military shooter battle royale game. Think Call of Duty, but more tanks and stuff. I guess you would say think Battlefield. I don't know. I'm over shooters, like military shooters in general. So I have zero interest in this game.
Yeah, yeah, same. I used to enjoy shooters. Now it's just like, I can take them or leave them, especially competitive ones. So I- this does nothing for me. I mean, again, all we really saw was just guys running at each other. Obviously, capture the flag is going to be a game mode. Because we saw a flag in like every video. So cool. There seems to be giant mechs in it. Can never go wrong with giant mechs. But yeah, definitely not going to see anything from me because I'm in the same boat. I'm kind of over it.
Mm, I didn't care for the game. It it looked basic. It's not anything that I didn't see before over the wide array of first person shooters. I mean, it had some it had many different elements from different games I've seen. It had Mag, if I'm not mistaken, Titanfall with the mechs, uh, Call of Duty. Um, yeah, it's just it looks like it just took different pieces of each game and compiled it together to create their own. You know, not really a fan of what they delivered.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. But I probably won't engage. The next game was something called Blacktail. This was the kind of hack and slasher game with like the I want to say the two girls with like the weird mask. That game looks kind of interesting. I'm kind of intrigued by it. But need to see more before I can make a decision as to whether or not I'm gonna play or buy it. So, what do you guys think of Blacktail?
Looks pretty interesting. I think from what I got from the trailer, I know I was kind of with you that I thought it was two twins. It could still be, but the way I kind of interpreted it was it's one girl, but she's dealing with literal dualities. So I think from what they explained in the little brief talking segments is that you're a witch, but you can choose to be like a good witch, and they showed some of like the good witch powers, or you could just be the typical bad witch, and they showed those powers. And I think the story's going to kind of revolve around your choices and whether you want to be like a good witch or a bad witch, and that's going to probably change how you see the world. This is just me basing this off on this little trailer. But yeah, I mean, it looks pretty interesting. Definitely very flashy with its particle effects. I do like the stark contrast between the good magical spells and the bad ones. They weren't just recolors. One's blue, one's red. One was like nature based and one was just black fire. So, definitely put some thought into the spell casting. The story could be interesting. If it's the twins aspect, that could be interesting. If it's the single character dealing with kind of like dueling, not personalities, but dueling conflicts, whether she should be good or bad, that could be interesting as well. So definitely one to look out for. I'll keep my eye on it for sure.
Yeah, Gunnar, you've unpacked a lot there within that little
That's
trailer.
just me. Yeah, I mean, I could be fucking projecting hardcore, but that's kind of what I got from.
I mean, I can definitely see some of those things you mentioned. I can also see, especially with the type of powers, it seems like um, if you're the good witch, if you choose to be the good witch, you're kind of like invoking help from spirits within the earth or whatever. But if you're a bad witch, you're kind of like draining the earth and using the elements to subdue enemies by killing. Who knows? Maybe it'll have an impact on how the earth is, or whatever mythical world you're on, when you finish the game. But it definitely looks interesting. I'm a fan of bows, one of my favorite projectile weapons. Um, this the little snippets of the story seem to be interesting. Uh, Again, the little like to Gunna's point about the different little like the text that they were mentioning about being a good or bad witch. That's a nice implement. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see.
Yep, we'll have to see indeed. The next game, I don't even. Oh, that's what this was. This was the weird like hexagon city builder, dwarf, romantic. I'm shrugging my shoulders right now. That's an indie game where you kind of build like a not a city per se, but like a civilization, I guess. And it's just like in little like hexagonal pieces. Um, so if you're into that, there's that. I don't know if you guys have much to say. I'm definitely I'm. It's not for me. So
Like I said, city builder games usually aren't my cup of tea, so this one just kind of like flew right by me. Again, awesome for the people that love it. Now you get to play it on the Switch, so it's going to be portable. So that might be a game changer for fans of the series or fans of this game. So we'll let it exist. Doesn't harm me in any way. So got no ill will.
For me, I am slightly like a smidgen intrigued. Um, I know this game possibly may go low in price, hopefully. It's not a direct Switch game, so I would assume that it will, uh, go low in price. But yeah, that's when I will pick it up and see if I enjoy it or not.
Yeah,
I
to
don't
be
think it's worth.
to be
Yeah,
clear,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love city builder games. Like I like
Hmm.
Civilization and like games like that.
Yeah.
But this one just it doesn't do anything for me. So I don't know. You can kill me in the comments. It's fine. Um,
Yeah, we'll
next,
just see.
yeah,
It just showed. Go
yeah.
ahead, Kong. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just trying to move on.
Oh. I was just okay. The last point I was going to say was it didn't show much about like any interactions. At least in Civilization, you have the option to like make peace with people, war, things like that. In this game, it looks like you're just building stuff. And it's just on a flat hexagonal surface or whatever, and that's it. I need to see more. That's it.
Yeah, I need conflict in my games. So, all right. So the next game was something called Where Winds Meet, and it looks like a feudal Japan, action adventure game, something akin to like Ghost of Tsushima, where the main character just doesn't care about gravity at all. He had like quadruple jumps. Like the man was just walking on water, walking on thin air. I was like, what the fuck? Crouching Dragon, Hidden Tiger activated. Um, I don't know what to think about this game. Like, I can see it being a cool game, but I can also see it being like very cutscene heavy and like really shallow gameplay. So it's hard to say. I'm not sold on it yet, but what do you guys think?
Um, I agree. I see this game being a square triangle heavy type of game. I'm not sure if they're like based on what I've seen, it seems like the only complexities were the platforming, with the triple jumps and climbing up stuff. Um, it seems like the actual battling system, you were just wailing on enemies. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Again, this is me just seeing it for like the first time. I'm kind of reviewing it again. You know, you know what? I actually kind of take that back because it looks like there's more complexity to the battle system. There was like some parrying, um, there were some like wait and see as an enemy swing. I really don't know. The game is all over the place for me. That's the point that I'm trying to make. It's all over the place. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. Um, I d- I love difficult games, kind of like that. So we'll just have to see. That's just the running gag for me. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at first I thought I was like, oh shit, let me check the movies. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon getting a sequel? But no, if this isn't in the same universe, it's heavily based off it, or this is just how ancient Chinese just rolled back in the day. Um, it's nice looking, very very pretty in terms of the characters and the environments, but the bits of gameplay that we saw just didn't wow me. They didn't put me off, but they didn't wow me. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. Maybe like the combat could get really out there with the whole fighting on air, and maybe you summon some ancient Chinese dragon. I don't know, not to be too stereotypical, but who knows? I didn't get enough besides it looking pretty. That's about it. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, we're almost done. We're almost down the list. Warhammer Dark Tide was the next game. This is a PC only, first-person shooter Warhammer game with a four player, combat focus. There seems to be like a class system. Like each character has like their own play style and stuff. This game looks pretty sick. And it's a horde-based game too, so it's like just you gunning down a lot of enemies, which I'm down for. I think it looks pretty neat, and I plan to play it. What do you guys think?
Well, let
I'll,
me let me
I'll let
go.
you go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you know, Gunna is gonna have a whole
No, no,
monologue for
no.
this game. So,
Trust me, they won't take an hour. No.
um, it looks appealing. I know we kind of said that we were tired of FPSs. Well, technically military FPSs or
Yeah, a
whatever.
little bit more. Yeah. Specific.
Yeah. But this game looks amazing. This game looks super gory. This game, it gives me. I don't know much about the Warhammer series or the 40K whatever. I know Gunnar loves those type of games, as he will speak more on. But based upon what I saw gameplay wise, it looks amazing. Like the bomb with the skull, that looked freaking crazy. Just the way the enemies looked, they looked really intimidating. Like, you know, you'll fall in seconds if a horde of them just show up and break through the gates or whatever you're fortifying. I'm pretty sure they should have a fortifying element to it. Um, but yeah, the game looks real. It looks solid. I would definitely buy it.
Okay, so I'm gonna try not to get too fucking hardcore. I love 40K. I recently got into it, and it's pretty much my main book that I'm reading. Every day I fight the urge to not just fall into the miniatures and waste thousands of dollars. This game looks great. The weapons look like 40K. They sound like 40K weapons. The fact that you're trying to liberate a hive city from chaos. Oh god, I'm trying not to rant. It looks solid. It's definitely a 40K game. It screams 40K, looks 40K. It's a cool horde mode. It has a pretty cool class system. You get to play as different um archetypes from 40K universe. No Space Marines, no guard, none of that. But you do get to play as a psyker. That's pretty cool. So this game definitely looks solid, and yeah, I will definitely be picking this up. It has to flop pretty hard or explode my PC for me to not get this game. And from everything I'm seeing, it's not going to. So I'd look for any excuse to support 40K. Call me a simp. I won't even really try to deny it. But yeah, definitely gonna get this game. And let's move on before I rant and rave for the next hour.
Oh, all good, all good. So the next game is something I'm definitely not gonna play. It's something called Under the Waves, and it is a story-driven, um, post-apocalyptic game where like you're underwater and it looks like the world has been submerged, and you're playing as this guy who's speaking to like ghosts of the past or whatever, and trying to like figure out some sort of mystery as to like what happened. Too much underwater for me. I am terrified of anything underwater, so I'm definitely not playing this. It's also a story-driven game, so there's two reasons for me not to play it. Like I need combat, I need conflict, and this game is more about the story and like character building and that sort of thing. And that's cool, but that's not for me. I'm looking to punch stuff. So, what do you guys think about Under the Waves?
I mean, it's I don't why I have I guess a common fear of the ocean, but I don't have that deep crippling fear of the ocean. Throw me in there and I'll cry like a bitch, but I think anybody will. It's made by Quantic Dream, so these are the guys that brought you Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human. So it's going to be very story based with minor button prompts, maybe. I'm just basing off of past iterations, but definitely going to be story based. And as a guy who kind of plays these type of games, who has I carve out time to play at least one every now and then. It looks interesting. Uh, that's all I can say. I don't know the themes. It looks kind of supernatural. We saw a little bit of what looked to be like a ghost girl on a shipwreck. So, Quantic Dream has made some pretty good story based games. They have a good track record. So I'm gonna keep my eyes and ears open for this one. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, maybe we'll see some crazy under the sea shenanigans.
Um, Honestly, I don't have much to say about it. I also have the deep fear of the sea. I can kind of, extend myself to video games and actually play it because recently played BioShock and you was mostly submerged underwater for some portions of the game. Um, uh, there wasn't much to it, honestly. From based upon the trailer, I didn't get a spark to actually play the game. It was just from what I was seeing, it was like eh. But according to Gunner, it is a story telltale game, is it? Is that
Uh,
what it is?
no, Quantic Dreams. There's a
Quantic
developer,
Dreams.
and it's
Okay.
they're really known for like their story based, multiple endings, highly interactive kind of movie style games or
It,
cinema style
cinematic.
games.
Yeah, their games
Yeah,
are super cinematic.
yeah. So I
Okay.
don't see how this one would be different, but I
Same guys
basing
who
it.
made Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain,
Yeah,
those games. Yeah,
Well, I'm not gonna front. Detroit Become Human was an exceptional game. I really enjoyed it.
it was an exceptional story. Wasn't much of a
Well,
game.
well, yeah. I enjoyed watching Kong play it.
Yeah,
It was
and
a
I
movie
enjoyed
for
it
me.
too.
Yeah.
Not worth $60 though. Anyway, moving on. Something that's also not worth $60. Uh, a sequel, I guess. The Lords of the Fallen.
You know you want that game.
Um,
this shit is
I
random as
I
hell.
really, I mean, I don't. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. But I bought Lords of the Fallen when it first came out. I bought it day one because it was like, oh, this is a Souls-like game, and the art
It had
style
no
for a
soul.
lot of the characters looked pretty cool, and I was like, all right, I'm sold. I bought it, and I tried to like it, and I ended up just like, damn, man, it's just super disappointing. So, um, yep, the game is getting, I guess, a sequel or maybe a reboot because they didn't put two.
I kind of thinking back on it, maybe reboot. I think that's yeah,
Yeah,
I'm feeling
I
that.
mean, why even name it that though? Like, if you're gonna reboot it, why not just call it something else, right? And just do that instead of having the stain of the old game kind of present there. I don't know. That's just me though. But we'll see. They didn't show any gameplay whatsoever, which is a huge red flag.
Yeah.
So they even had like an '80s song, like rock song, on there, which I enjoyed the song, but it's like you're like pandering now. Like it's like you're trying too hard. Like the game should be able to speak for itself, and it didn't at all because there was no gameplay. So I'm not looking forward to this at all. Um, I am willing to eat my words if it's a great game, cool, but I have my doubts. So take it away.
Yeah, I never played Lords of the Fallen. Kong has definitely shared his feelings with the game with our friend group. So I definitely know about it. Never played it. I knew it came out during, the hype of the Souls games. It, in my humble opinion, it tried to piggyback off of their success really hard and bombed really hard. So if this is a reboot, this is a very interesting play to make. I share the same sentiments as Kong. I don't know why you would give the same name. The name doesn't have a positive connotation with it. But maybe, hey, what do they say in Hollywood? Any publicity is good publicity. So it got us to at least pay attention to the trailer because it's like, what the fuck? Lord of the Fallen? Why is that a thing again? So yeah, but the zero gameplay, the 2000 esque era concept of what's cool, really guy with red fights cool guy with blue, but everybody's dressed in black armor and a butt rock 80s song and playing in the background. It's just like, ooh, slow your roll with the edge. So I can't comment on something that we got no gameplay of, but hey, Lord of the Fallen, it's a thing. So cool, I guess.
I mean, I don't have much to say as well. Yes, I've heard Kong's rant and disdain for the predecessor. Um, I'm not sure how well this game did prior, statistics wise, but maybe they probably did well enough for them to have this name still projected into their new game. Again, I don't know. I don't know the statistics. Maybe there were a lot more people who enjoyed it as opposed to people who didn't. Maybe it was an easier Souls game that people could get by because they couldn't actually beat the actual Souls game. I mean, a lot of people buy generic medicine as opposed to their actual thing. So, you know, um, I really don't have much to say about it because I've never played the game. The trailer looks nice. That's all they showed. It is what it is. We will have to wait and see.
Yes. I'm not gonna open the can of worms and start talking about the first game because that'll be another podcast episode in
Mhm.
itself. Just the first game was not good, period, and we'll see. The next game was something called Stranded Alien Dawn. What we didn't see any gameplay, but from what I gather, it's I'm guessing it's a survival game, but in space. Like you're in a different planet and you have to scavenge, I guess, other, you know, crash landings and scavenge like alien plants or who knows. I don't know. I could tell it's going to be a survival game. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but I'm intrigued by that fact alone. What do you guys think of it?
Yeah. It, it looks interesting. Um, that's all I can really say. I've noticed there's been a big uptake in space games recently. So I guess space is the new hot thing. Uh, I mean, it's cool. You have the survival aspect, right? Like you could see in the trailer they show, they literally return to caveman. The guy, it's a pretty interesting contrast. A guy with like a spear, a pointy stick behind a ruined escape pod. As far as any potential gameplay goes, not that we saw any. I'm not, the biggest on survival games. I could play them to a certain degree unless they're going like for real world. You have hunger and hydration meters. To me personally, that's okay. I'm a filthy casual, so that's a bit too much for me. But I don't know. They didn't really show anything, but the concept is cool. Maybe you won't stay in Unga Bunga forever. Maybe you'll have an opportunity to kind of scavenge for future tech. Because in the trailer they showed other, I'm assuming, escape pods crashing, so there might be conflict with the survivors, or who knows. It looks interesting from what we saw. Just kind of need to see more, which is kind of a running theme with a couple of the last games we saw.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off both you guys' points, it definitely does look interesting. From what I'm gathering with this game, yeah, they're stranded. Maybe they can build some form of civilization there. Maybe, I see like the alien animals that kind of resemble cattle. Um, Obviously, they're herbivores because they're not showing any interest in the character portrayed in the trailer. Then they showed like a sneaky uh creature with like a Rathalos color scheme to it. And it looks scaly, so I'm guessing those are the predators of the land. Um, Based upon the overall setting, maybe you can venture out into the entire world. Don't know how big that is. Um, but yeah, I'm getting survival, but I'm also getting like some form of building with the trailer that I'm seeing here. Cultivating and kind of creating some form of civilization until um someone comes and save you, or you can build some type of distress signal. Who knows? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yep. Two more to go. So, I don't even remember this game, but I wrote it down. Scars Above.
The hell is that?
I don't remember. It's a game we saw, but it clearly made zero impact on me. So, uh, moving past that one, Phantom Hellcat was the last game we saw. This one was like a hack and slash game. Um, Looked alright. Looked like kind of like Devil May Cry gameplay. But you know, I don't know if it'll be any good. I don't think we saw a release date for this one, so Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Kind of backtracking off a bit. Scars Above was the game with the Lara Croft impersonator who had guns and was shooting aliens and shit like that.
That's why
Um,
it felt like just okay. It was generic. Yeah, okay. So Scars Above, and it was like third person shooter gameplay, right? Like she had
Over the shoulder, yeah,
like over the shoulder, like she had like a grenade launcher or something like that.
yeah.
I have no thoughts on that game at all. Like it looks
No.
it looks generic, like generic the game, but we have a strong female character lead with brown hair. Cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not feeling anything from that one. So we can I'm cool with moving on to the hack and slash.
Um, I'm just again running gag, I guess, for this segment.
Wait and see.
Yep, I'm gonna wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean looks it looks like something. I mean it's she materializes a sword, so kind of my hopes are maybe she can materialize other weapons. It seems to also have side-scrolling parts. So if it
Yeah.
changes between kind of side-scrolling gameplay, platforming, and then maybe Devil May Cry-esque combat, that could be interesting. I mean, that's a kind of a blending of two different genres. But yeah, I mean, to end the night, we'll see.
All right, Esoteric. Any thoughts on Phantom Hellcat before we close out?
Um, I'm digging the action. I'm digging the particle effects. The character looks interesting. I again to Gunna's point, the whole side-scrolling aspect with the whole like Devil May Cry gameplay looks appealing. That's all I can say about that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a long episode. So first and foremost, anybody who has made it this far, thanks for listening. You could have watched all this shit that we talked about in half the time. So,
True that. True that.
Yeah.
so I appreciate you listening. And hopefully you got some value out of our opinions. Um, I don't know. You'd have to tell us in the comments. So with that being said, let's wrap it up, boys. So, um, if you enjoyed this content, subscribe. We do podcasts every week, publishes every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. We also do 2-minute reviews, and we also do. I think we still do long form gameplay content, right? You still upload your streams or no?
That's on the archive channel. We're working on porting all the stuff from the original channel over to that platform. So for anybody who's missed any of our streams, I will announce the Logical Gamers archive channel once I'm able to migrate all those games over to that channel. So all the gameplay footage.
Cool. So stay
Yeah.
tuned for that. I'm sure that'll be announced on our social media. Speaking of social media, we also have social media. So we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We also run a Discord. We're also on TikTok. So just look for Logical Gamers. All the links will be provided for you in the description down below. We also stream. So I stream on BlankaKong on Twitch. I don't stream all the time. I stream kind of when I have time, when I have energy to. So if you're interested in watching me play some old retro games, follow and you'll be notified once I go live. Mr. Esoteric, he streams on the main channel, Logic Gamers TV. He streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. And he plays and streams a lot more than I do. So if you are looking for consistent gameplay, action, and entertainment, he is the guy to look for. Follow him there so you are notified when he goes live. I think that's everything. So, guys, thank you so much for a great conversation. Anybody who's listening this far, who's made it this far, thank you for listening. Drop a like or a dislike, drop a comment, and subscribe. And, we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Until next time.
Take care.